All right, let's start with Operation Epic Fury. In less than 3 hours, the U.S. will begin enforcing a naval blockade on the Strait of Hormuz after peace talks with Iran fell through after 21 hours over the weekend.
Lucas Tomlinson's in Pakistan, where those talks were being held, and he joins us now. Hey, Lucas.
Good morning, Ainsley. Good morning, guys. These talks here in Islamabad that were held over the weekend were the highest level between the U.S. and Iran in nearly half a century. And Vice President JD Vance offering what their officials are calling his final offer to the Iranians, which includes some red lines, that has been taken back to Tehran. And perhaps President Trump upping the ante, now saying he's going to put a blockade on Iranian ports in the Strait of Hormuz if they don't reach a deal. Here was the president with Maria Bartiromo yesterday.
I would say it's holding well. Their military is destroyed. Their whole Navy is underwater. You know that. 158 ships are gone. Their Navy's gone. Most of their mine droppers are gone. We have a lot of people, as you know, at 10 o'clock tomorrow, we have a blockade going into effect. That'll be 10 o'clock tomorrow. Other nations are working so that Iran will not be able to sell oil, and that will be very effective.
So that's 10 a.m. Eastern, guys, about 3 hours from now for that blockade. The U.S. Military Central Command says the blockade will be enforced impartially against vessels of all nations entering or departing Iranian ports and coastal areas, including all Iranian ports on the Arabian Gulf and Gulf of Oman. CENTCOM forces will not impede freedom of navigation for vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz to and from non-Iranian ports. A message to the Gulf states there. And the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps responding harshly, saying, quote, contrary to the false claims of certain enemy officials, the Strait of Hormuz is open for the passage of non-military vessels under smart control and management in accordance with specific regulations. Now, as both sides seek an off-ramp to the war, talks are expected to continue. Time and place TBD, guys. And over the weekend, a pair of U.S. Navy guided missile destroyers sailed through the Strait of Hormuz here in Islamabad after Vance's talks concluded with the Iranians after more than 21 hours face-to-face. Officials tell Fox, including in the final offer, are 6 red lines. I'll read a few of them. Iran must end all uranium enrichment, dismantle all major nuclear enrichment facilities, retrieve that highly enriched uranium, and I'll skip down to the 6th one, fully open the Strait of Hormuz, charging no tolls for passage. Now, Pakistan mediated the talks, guys, but make no mistake, Pakistan is not Switzerland. Last year, they signed a major defense pact with Saudi Arabia, and over the weekend, Pakistan deployed forces to Saudi Arabia. Why? Should Iran launch more attacks against Saudi Arabia, it will initiate that pact. Could be a response from Pakistan. So once again, countries in the region are upping the ante and want to see a deal made between the United States and Iran, guys.
Luke, it's impossible to know what every Gulf state feels. I understand that. But for the most part, the word we're getting is that they want us to finish the job. Even though they had 72 attacks, various states, at their energy centers, they've paid a price. But they don't want us to stop without finishing the job. Do you get that sense, too?
Absolutely. And Brian, the damage to some of those oil and gas refineries is going to take years to replace. And while many of the Gulf states are using overland oil pipelines to shift oil, like in Saudi Arabia and UAE, which I was in last month, I mean, that's not peak capacity using those pipelines. They do want to see this ended. But let's face the political realities on the ground. The price of gasoline back in the United States is over 40% was at the beginning of the war. Both sides, the United States and Iran, are seeking an off-ramp to this war, and talks will continue at a later date, guys.
Okay, thank you so much. We are just a few hours away from this. Donald Trump says the blockade will happen at 10 a.m. That's 5:30 p.m. Iranian time. That means to block the Iranian ports and the coastal areas. Iran has responded with threats on ports in the Persian Gulf and in the Gulf of Oman. And they're saying this on television there. The Republic of Iran broadcasting is saying no port in the region will be safe.
Well, so if they're going to do this and have control of the straits in this way, then everybody's going to say, if this is going to be a global market, then globally everyone is going to have to suffer. Hopefully China and Russia, as a result of this, and maybe even Japan, because they're supposed to be our ally, but they're not helping, by the way, as well. They will call the Iranians and tell them, open it up for everyone. But to Brian's point, they have laid all these mines, and because they're so incompetent in everything that they do, they don't even know where the mines are. So this gives the president an opportunity, our military to reset, our guys and gals to get some rest, and now they can go back to the battlefield.
Are we able to sweep the whole strait, Brian?
Sure. And the British evidently are sending minesweepers. They got great minesweepers, but they were defenseless. So we have to provide the defense because they're flat bottoms, and so we have to provide the defense. What we have is the best of both worlds. We're sending in armed ships into the strait. I just love the message. We're in knee deep in talks with them in the middle of a ceasefire, and then we send 2 destroyers through there to pick up the mines they dropped, and they say, "Well, no, you're not supposed to go through." We're going through anyway, and guess what? They didn't hit any mines. Does that give the barges and the tankers, super tankers, a green light to say, you know, maybe we're just going to do it? But now no one gets through. I mean, this is the ultimate trump card. He totally flipped the script. We'll decide who gets in and make them pay extortion. Wait, nobody gets in or out. And then who's going to pay the price first? He says, if you can, you guys want, if you got some oil, lay it off over in Texas. Right. Come over here. You can lay it, and you want some? Pick it up because we've got natural gas, too. So maybe you want to head that way. And China, I can't wait for the first Chinese ship to pull up empty, hoping to get oil, and being told you can't get in. That's when China puts the pressure to say to Iran, change things.
Yep.
And don't, is it, I think it's next month where our president meets with President Xi. So if this is not solved by then, that is going to be an interesting in-person conversation.
It's tough. We need the strait open completely. We don't need them to charge ships to travel through. Can't happen. We need the enriched uranium. We need to make sure they're not creating ballistic missiles that could travel, intercontinental missiles, which it seems we have destroyed a lot of their Navy. A lot of their ships are down at the bottom of the Strait of Hormuz. So there has been success here. And the ultimate goal, remember, was so that they do not have nuclear weapons.
Right. I know it's hard to do, but if you listen to almost 90% of the commentary, they act like we're losing.
Oh, yes. Ridiculous.
We have totally destroyed a country that can't even communicate with each other. And now we're in 10 days. There's a 2-week ceasefire. We're taking a look now and seeing what's left, but they have 32 separate command structures. They have not even been able to communicate to all 32. They're going to keep rocketing until they realize there's no replenishment. And before the war started, they had no water. They have a worthless currency. That was before the war started. What do you think they're doing now? Think about that for a second, and most of their leadership is dead.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.